started.
Yeah, I think it says it's recording.
Okay,
Yep.
awesome. Well, welcome.
I think she muted herself.
We're going to go back to doing these on a monthly basis. And then we'll put the recordings on the YouTube channel. There you guys can see the old drum beats that we've had in prior months. And really, purpose of these calls is to bring relevant EH&S services and solutions to the Matthews team, so you guys are aware of some of the things that Grainger can do to support your facilities. And like always, I know I say this every call, but please feel free to reach out if there are any topics that you feel like are relevant, that you'd like to hear more about. Would be happy to invite on, internal partners, manufacturer reps, service partners. And today we have Mazzella joining us. So Mazzella is one of Grainger's service providers. They do a couple of different things. They do rack inspections as well as rigging and fall protection inspections, trainings, and repairs. Great thing about Mazzella, like the rest of our service providers, they are everything that they do is billed through Grainger. So anything that you do with them, that does count towards the contractual obligations as well as the rebate that Grainger pays out at the end of each contract year. Also, don't need to set up a new vendor in your system, which is always nice. So we've got John and Brittany from Mazzella to present today. So with that being said, I will pass it off to them. Feel free to speak up if you've got any questions, but go ahead, John and Brittany, the floor is yours.
Sure, I'm gonna share my screen. I'll give you guys a little introduction to who Mazzella is if you are not aware. And let me get this on presentation mode. All right. So Mazzella is actually a family-owned company, started back in 1954. You see a picture there of Mr. Jim Mazzella and his wife started the company way back when. Currently, right now, we are our president and CEO is Tony Mazzella. He's second generation, but his son Matt is our current president. Tony is CEO. I'm sorry, I overspoke there a little bit. But what we are is a rigging company that provides many of the services to Grainger right now.
Oh, John, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. So here's our current footprint. The red dots are all Mazzella companies. The blue dots are our second company we own, which is
Hey,
a
John,
metal
sorry
roofing.
sorry to interrupt again. You're not sharing any longer.
Man, I'm having troubles with this technical
No
stuff
worries.
here
Wouldn't be
today.
the first time. Won't be the last.
There we go.
There you go.
I am in my home office. I do not have all the monitors that I normally have. So I'm working on a small monitor. So here's our current footprint. We're rapidly expanding our services. Pretty much anything east of the Mississippi, we've got pretty much covered. We are expanding our footprint out westward. Most of the services we can provide. It gets a little bit dicey when we talk about crane service. Crane inspections really require a truck and a technician. So based on where the location would be, anything west of the Mississippi is going to be difficult to even cover at this point, but we are adding facilities all the time. I know we're looking at another acquisition right now, but we are also growing internally, organically as well. So some of the locations that we are opening right now would be one in Chicago. We've opened recently in Dallas. So we're currently expanding our footprint.
Hey, John, I know Matthews has quite a few cranes in facilities in Southern California. Would that be
It'd be a
in your
difficult
wheelhouse or
one
no?
to do because we
Okay.
don't really have any facilities out there right now. The blue dots that I showed you on the map, that's our roofing business.
Okay.
It's totally unrelated to this side of the business.
But
So,
Georgia, okay.
yep.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, all through the Midwest, anywhere in the Southeast, we're pretty strong. We can even start, we're starting to cover up into Chicago and Wisconsin. We do have an office in St. Louis, but we do not have crane service there yet. But we're working on it. We have a pretty significant goal to grow that business here in the next 2 to 3 years. It's just a matter of getting the right people and the right personnel. Um, so it's hard right now to find technicians. They're wanted and few in supply. So, but we've been growing that side of the business pretty quickly. But just one of the real successes that we're having with Grainger right now is our warehouse storage solutions. So any type of racking in any facility, we can do inspections, we can do repairs, and we can also do full turnkey new installs on racking solutions as well. That also includes offices and mezzanines and that kind of work as well. We don't offer you guys lighting. You guys have a separate services provider for that, so we don't really offer that one for you guys. But that's something we do outside of our scope. So it's real simple too on that side. Some of the things that you need to ask or we would need to know would be that the size of the facility, the type of racks that are in there, customer time frame to get inspection done, basic hours of operation, just temperatures in the warehouse, and if there's any special things safety wise that we would need to know ahead of time going in there. So it's pretty simple. It's really just a guy or two, and he's getting on a plane, so he's not bringing any equipment with him that he would need. So there's really no cost for that. It's really just the cost of travel and time. And we're seeing in the marketplace a greater focus by OSHA on warehouse racking. Basically, are going to fall back to the standard is you have to provide a safe workspace for your employees. So they're going to ask if they've been inspected and where's the record, and if there's something that shows damage, what's their plan for repair. So um, it almost falls on that general duty clause if you guys are familiar with that. Literally, if they see an issue with a rack, they're going to ask you. So it's not very expensive inspection itself, but honestly, uh, it's been very successful in our partnership with Grainger here in the last year. It's probably our fastest growing service. One of the other things that we offer is training, safe rigging training. And we do offer a 4 hour class and an 8 hour class. The 4 hour class is basically a classroom hands-on class, and not hands-on, a classroom with a test. And then 8 hours is going to be more of a hands-on where we get out into the facility and maybe operate a crane and things like that. Um, I'll also on that side, we are partner with a company called ITI, and we offer some more advanced rigging classes through ITI through Grainger. Um, if Alita submitted, well, our trainer will discuss that with you guys on the far. It's a little bit more difficult to explain those offerings right now, but they're pretty advanced. They're 2 and 3 day classes that are very, very hands-on, more for somebody who's doing advanced type of rigging. So your general customers that have a couple cranes in the facility that aren't doing anything major, basic rigging is probably going to be their class. But if you're getting anything complicated where we're side loading or using different, say, chain falls or things like that to balance the load. That's a much more advanced type of class, but we can offer that too as well through ITI.
And hey, John,
Yeah,
what's the OSHA requirement for them to complete this training so that
so
they
it,
know?
so similar to what I just talked about racking, anybody that's lifting and rigging has to be trained yearly. Um, some companies feel sufficient in their own class. Um, but honestly, if you're doing any type of lifting and rigging on a routine basis, just showing a video or having um, a 45-minute talk for once a year on rigging is probably not going to get it done. So, um, but that's the general requirement is everybody shall be trained to do their job safely. So it falls under that. Same thing when it comes to rigging inspections. Those must be done yearly as well and documented. Um, you actually probably could do that yourself if you feel your person is competent, but I'd ask you what make you feel that person is competent. So quite honestly, our inspectors go through a 3-day certified inspector class, and that certification is good for 3 years. And that's all they do 24/7 is inspect rigging. They don't do anything else. They don't sell. It's a completely separate business from the rigging business. It just supports the rigging business, quite honestly. So we've also had a lot of success in that one with Grainger, simply because that is also a guy in travel, and his, just his computer and things for doing the inspection doesn't need any particular equipment. On the crane side, again, you're going to need a truck, you're going to need a lift. It's travel time, and it's if we're not within 2 hours of your facility, it's probably not a good partnership. But sometimes there's nobody else available, and we've driven as far as 8 hours to do inspections for Grainger. So it's all relative, I guess. But our partnership with Grainger on the services side goes back to 2016. Um, it's growing more and more every year. Um, we're trying to expand our offerings the best we can. Some things are a good fit. We do not do crane repair through Grainger. There's just too many variables that would happen. That would be something that we would have to do direct. Even if we did the inspection, the crane repairs would have to go direct to the end user. It's too hard to run something like that through a third party. And we do not do new crane installs through Grainger as well. These are generally capital equipment projects, which require progress payments and signed contracts and a lot of engineering work. And quite honestly, it's a very tight market. So that's really not something that you can be successful with going through a third party. But that being said, also, we have a strong relationship with Grainger on the product side. We can quote anything on the lifting rigging side through sourcing to you guys through Grainger, and we also have about 400 Crosby products in the Red Book. So if you buy anything from Grainger, that's Crosby lifting product that's coming from us. We're the only vendor for Crosby products for Grainger. So I think that covers all of our services. I don't think I missed any.
Hey,
Do you guys have
John.
any questions?
Yeah, I have a couple. John Olszewski.
Hey.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing, buddy?
Good. Hey, so obviously, some of the things that I've been able to partner with your team and having conversations. Obviously, the rack inspection has definitely garnered some momentum, especially in the last several months. Part of it is because OSHA does have a warehouse national emphasis program, so I think that definitely has kind of highlighted the need for the rack inspections. But some of the other things that you talked about and so one of the things that tied into the rigging inspection is, and I don't think you addressed it, that the fall protection, the soft good inspections that you guys offer as well. So again, it's kind of killing two birds with one stone potentially in some visits, where you can inspect the rigging, but also the harnesses and the lanyards and stuff like that. So I think that's something I think it should be kind of thrown out there as well. Because it does save the customer some additional time, because it is a requirement from OSHA. And then the other thing that I think that you guys provide and do a really good job on is the inspection report, the document that you leave behind with, hey, these are the pieces of equipment that have been inspected, and then this is the condition of them. And I think that's one of the things too, is for the Grainger team members to partner with, when you guys are out in the field with us or with, doing the inspections, that they come along as well, because they have the opportunity then to help, what's been kind of deemed unsatisfactory from a condition standpoint, that we can also then help supply what the replacement parts are at the same time to kind of get them, whole with the equipment they need. And then the other thing I just have a question on, from your side of the business, do you offer competent person rigging inspector training, or is that something that through either you or ITI?
ITI offers that class. That's the same company that we put our inspectors through. We
Okay.
currently are not offering that through Grainger, but I don't know if that would be something I'd have to talk to ITI about if they were willing to do it through Grainger or not.
Okay.
But that's like I said, that's a 3-day class. The one thing that I can tell you is that they offered at various times throughout the year at some of their training centers, and there's several. Actually, one of our facilities in Cleveland is an ITI training center. So several times throughout the year they offer that class. Um, I've been through it like 5 times, and it's, as far as lifting and rigging goes, it's one of the best classes to understand all the products and uses of them.
Okay. And then the other thing is, I don't know if if you're sharing anything, because we're not seeing it. So I
Yeah,
wasn't
I had the
sure.
map up, but
Okay.
I'm having some difficulties right now.
Yeah. Gotcha. Hey, we've all, like Amanda said, we've all been there.
Yeah, and
Right.
I attached 2 PDFs, John, the ones that you shared with me, to the invite. I'll get them out to everybody again, along with the recording for this as well. So you guys
Yeah.
should have everything you need.
There's one form I can share with you guys because when we talk, the crane inspections, there's usually some detailed information that you should have for us to be able to quote this properly. So if a lead's submitted to us, our crane service person is going to send this form out. It's basically a front load form that's going to ask us some key questions about what we need to know. So going to be asking basically what type of cranes you have in the system or in your facility. What's the height of the crane? Are there any special requirements? Can we get in and out relatively easily? Everything free and clear. What's the floor like? Simply because if we have to bring a lift in there, we need to know what kind of floor we're dealing with. Are there multiple levels? When can we get in? Will this be on the weekday or a weekend? If we need to bring that lift with us, if not, will it be supplied by a customer? That kind of thing. So if you were to submit that type of request for us, generally in any of the business units, they're going to get you with a bunch of questions so we can fulfill that. But pretty general. You don't have to be an expert to answer them. So it's pretty straightforward. So,
John, are they utilizing the front load for inspections as well, for rigging inspections?
I don't believe he sends the front load form out. I think he's just going to ask some general questions, and it's almost the same as warehouse. It's the size of the facility, and if they have a prior inspection report, that's great. And just get a general idea of the amount of stuff that's in the facility. It's generally going to be wherever we're going. It's probably a full day inspection just based on travel. So I mean that's basically the way I look at it. All right. Any
All
more
right, guys,
questions?
any additional questions for John? All right. Well, if anything comes up, please feel free to reach out to me, or if you've got a local Grainger rep, reach out to them as well. I will get this recording out to everybody along with John. Can you send me that doc that you just shared? I'll send that out along with the 2
Yep.
PDFs that you shared as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. All right, everyone. Well, thanks so much for the time. Thanks, John and Brittany, for joining, and enjoy the rest of the day, everyone.
Thanks, Amanda.